Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Ankush here from Alif Consulting. Welcome in our Microsoft Purview video. In this specific video, we will be going to talk about all the risk and compliance management solutions we have available under the Microsoft Purview for M365 or Office 365. Well, here the agenda of our video. So we'll basically going to understand what is Microsoft Purview solution is, and then we're going to talk about what are the solutions we have available for risk and compliance management. At the end, we will be going to have a little demo where I would be going to show you how your Microsoft Purview looks like, and then we'll be going to show you what are the other options is already there inside the Purview and what are the license requirement is going to be. So let's quickly jump into the introduction. So Microsoft Purview risk and compliance solutions help us to manage, monitor our data, protect the information, minimize the compliance risk, and meet the regulatory requirement, right? So in this PPT, we're going to talk about and we're going to help you to learn about the Microsoft Purview risk and compliance solutions, and we're going to show you how exactly you can deploy the solution to meet the specific compliance need for your organization, right? So it says like you have a two kind of things. You do have a risk and compliance management, as well you do have a unified data governance which you can put on your data as well on the Microsoft Purview. Benefit which we are going to get with Microsoft Purview: help you to gain the visibility into the asset across your entire data estate, enables easy access to all your data security and risk solutions, help you to safeguard and manage the sensitive data across the cloud, app, and endpoints, manage end-to-end data risk and regulatory compliance, empower your organizations to govern, protect, and manage the data in new comprehensive way, right? So these are the benefit which you eventually getting with this Microsoft Purview portal, right? So the first solution which we have is protect the sensitive data. So protect the sensitive data is something which is eventually used to manage your sensitive information, right? So when you putting your data, right, and the data is basically is always going to be there on your Office 365, on your Teams, or your SharePoint, right? But s- protecting a sensitive data is always important, right? So to protect the sensitive data, what is there's a three way of how you protect the sensitive data, right? So sensitive data, we know, like a customer information, like a customer contract information which is there with the organization, any kinds of financial informations. Being as a public organization, financial information is always important. Credit card information, customer personal health information kind of things is always count as a sensitive data, right? So to protect the sensitive data, there is three way or three steps. First, know your data. What kind of sensitive information is there? Uh, what kind of data is there? So that's kind of thing you do under your know your data. And to do that, you do have a three kind of things, right? You do have a sensitive information type which you can imply and which can help you to identify the sensitive items. Then you do have a trainable classifier where you can identify the sensitivity item by using the example of data. And then you have a data classification which eventually help you to provide a graphical identification of your item in your organization, right? So this is the thing, this is the way how you know your data, right? So next is protecting the data, right? So there is a many capability that you can use from Microsoft Preview information protection solution which help you to protect your data wherever it's stored. Either it's stored on the SharePoint, either it's stored on the Teams, either it's stored on the email, and how it's accessed, right? That's something you can do by using the Microsoft Purview information protection when to protect your data. Now the third option which we have is prevent the data loss. So to do that, we do have an option within the Microsoft Purview which is known as a Microsoft Purview data loss prevention, which eventually help you to put the data loss policy on your data across your all the services like the Office 365 mailboxes, Office 365 mail team, Microsoft Teams, Skype, SharePoint, right? So that's where you can use the prevent data loss prevention solution to enable the data loss prevention on your all the data which is going in and out from your organization. The next solution which we have is lifecycle management and the encryption. So the lifecycle management, which is eventually was known as a Microsoft Information Governance, provide us the tool and capability to retain and delete the content across the Microsoft Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, and the Microsoft 365 groups, Teams, and Yammer. Retaining and deleting the email document messages are often needed for the compliance and the regulatory requirement. However, deleting the content that are no longer has a business value also reduce your risk, your attack surface, right? So this is where you do you manage your data lifecycle, like how you want to govern your data, what data you want to put it into the uh, e-discovery for more longer time, how you want to retain your data, how you want to delete your data across the all the Office 365 services. That's something you can manage under the data lifecycle management. The other option which we have is encryption, right? So encryption is the very important part to store or send the information, right? So when you're using a database, as an example, you always put the encryption on the database if you're using or storing the database for any sensitive information like the customer health information, credit card, right? So the same way you can use the encryption in your M365 for mailboxes, or to the email, to the document when you're sharing it to the outside the organization, right? Like you're sending the passwords, you're sending the other contractual informations, any other organization information which is a very secure information. That's something you can do by enabling the encryption on the email. To do that, Microsoft do also have one more solution which eventually double the keys encryption on your email orient data, which is a Microsoft Purview double key encryption. Basically, it's help us to secure more sensitive data that is subjected to the restricted protection requirement. Microsoft Purview customer key help you to meet the regulatory or compliance obligations for controlling the root keys, right? And then you can basically authorize the M365 services to use your encryption keys to provide the value add cloud services such as the e-discovery, anti-malware, anti-spam, and the search indexing, and so on. So that's how you can use the encryption services. So encryption services is one thing which you eventually get with your email, but the preview double key encryption basically help you to ensure and secure, provide the secure and ensure the data encryption on all the services across the M365. Now the next solution which we have is identify the data risk, right? So insider risk are the one of the top concern for the security and compliance professional in the modern workspace, because we don't know if someone is phishing or doing the doing the hacking, or accessing the unauthorized data inside the organization, right? So industry study have shown that the insider risks are often associated with the specific user event or the activity. Protecting your organization against this risk can be challenging to identified and difficult to mitigate. Insider risk include vulnerabilities in a various areas and can be cause major problem for your organization, ranging for loss of intellectual property to workspace harassment and so on. So that's where you do have a multiple solutions for the data risk management which you can use for this kind of challenges, right? So what are the solution we have? We do have a insider risk management, we do have a communication compliance, we do have a information barrier, we do have a record management, we do have a audit standard and premium, we do have a e-discovery standard and premium. So all of these solutions are there for data risk management. Auditing, right? So auditing is the one of the way, like how you manage or how you see the event log for your all the users action which is performed by the user, right? So whenever a user is using the M365, there is tons of events has been generated by the every user in a day, right? So auditing solution help you to do the sec- uh, help you to basically respond to the security events, forensic investigation, internal investigation, and the compliance obligation, right? So all of those logs basically something which you can find using the auditing solution. Other option which we have is identify and manage the data for the legal cases, right? And there is an option called e-discovery or electronic discovery is the process of identifying, collecting and auditing the electronic information for the legal, regulatory and the business reason, right? So we can use the Microsoft Purview e-discovery solution to search the data and contain in Exchange Online, OneDrive for Business, SharePoint, Teams and M365 group and the Yammer. We can also search mailbox sites in the same discovery search and then export all of those results for analysis and the review. So this is the data where you can put a specific data and you can find a specific data across your organization for all the from all the mailboxes. The other option which we have is the compliance manager. So compliance manager is a feature in Microsoft Purview compliance portal that help us to manage our organization compliance requirement with the greater case and convenience. Compliance manager can help us to throughout our compliance journey for taking the inventory of data protection risks to managing the complexities for implementing the controls, staying with the current regulations and certifications and reporting to the auditor. A part of that, Microsoft do offer a comprehensive set of compliance offering to help the organization with comply with the national, regional, international, and the industry-specific requirements governing the collection and use of the data. So this is also the one of the feature which is there with the purview, and this compliance manager help you to put the compliance industry specific compliance as per your organization. Let's take an example. Your organization is specifically from the finance vertical. That's something you can go ahead and apply the policy directly from the compliance manager for your organization requirement, and then from there it's going to give you your secure score, and then what are the compliances, what are the controls which are not placed in place, and then from there you can go ahead and in place all of those control directly from the compliance manager, right? So let's quickly jump into the demo. So this is how your compliance manager, this is how your Microsoft Purview compliance tool look like. Now, if you go into the left side, you will see there are plenty of solutions which is available there, right? So you do have a compliance manager where you can see what is your compliance regulatory is there, what are the compliance has been applied, right? All of those information would be available under the compliance manager. So let me go ahead and give a refresh to this page, and we'll be going to show you how your compliance manager look like, right? So this is how your compliance manager look like. It's going to give you the your compliance score, and then what are the key improvement action is there. All of those key improvement action would be available, which you can go ahead and apply directly from the here, and accordingly you will be awarded for the point and your compliance score will be get increased. Then you do have a plenty of other options, like if you want to do the assessment, if you want to implement any kind of solution alerting kind of thing, which you can do. You do have an option to classify the data, you do have an option to connect the data, do the data connector and import the data from your third party providers like Google or the other provider, and then you can run the compliance manager, or you can run the solutioning like a compliance manager, data governance, auditing, data loss prevention, e-discovery, and all of them, right? So if you go into the solution, you would be able to see all of the compliance solution which we have. So we do have a app governance is a one of the solution. We do have a auditing which we have talked about. Here we can go ahead and search the data or search the event log for the specific user or for the specific activity, and then we can go ahead and see that data, and we can download those events for the compliance perspective, right? As soon as your audit search is completed, you would be able to see all of your events which is there, which has been there and searched by your audit search query, and then you can go ahead and select all of them, and you can download all of these audit logs. You do have a content search where you can go ahead and search your content. You do have a compliance manager, which that's something you can apply on your team Sky for Business, right? You do have a data loss prevention policies which you can go ahead and apply it out. You do have a plenty of policies predefined. However, if you want to go ahead and create your new DLP policies, that's something you can do. You do have a DLP endpoint settings which you can apply directly from here for your Windows and Mac devices. Then we do have a e-discovery options, which is one of the way of finding the data across all the services in M365 like emails, Skype for Business, Teams, Yammer, M365 groups, and your SharePoint, OneDrive, right? We do have a data lifecycle management which we talk about, where we can basically create the policy like what kind of data we want to retain, for how much time we want to retain, and what kind of data we want to delete it. That kind of things is there under the data lifecycle management. Information protection and information barrier is something which is basically the one of the service which allows you to what kind of labels, what kind of sensitivity you want to apply on the specific document or the specific information. Let's take an example. You have a email or you have a document, sorry, that is there on the OneDrive, right? You want to apply the label on the confidence, right? So the confidential level you want to apply it, which means no one would be able to share the document outside the organization, right? So that kind of information barriers or information protection, you can apply it out. You can create your labels. As of now, these all are the predefined labels which is there. However, you can go ahead and apply the labels on all the your emails or your folders, documents, sites, right? Kind of things you can do it. You do have a label policy where you can specify what kind of labels would be there, what are the labels is going to be published, where those labels is going to be available, like Outlook, Word, SharePoint site, OneDrive groups, right? And then we do have an insider risk management, which is a very important part. How do you manage your policies? How do you create or run the scanning? Or what are the policies are in place, right? Kind of things you can do for your insider risk management, right? Then you do have a record management. You do have a risk and privacy risk management uh, for your M365 user. So all of these options are basically there. However, all of those options are depends on what kind of licensing you are using it. If you are using Office 365 E3, then you might need to have a different add-on for Microsoft Purview for M365. However, if you're using M365 E5 licenses, all of these options and solution would be pre-available, and you can go ahead and take the advantage of this solution for within your organization for all the M365 services as well as your endpoint like Windows and Mac machine. That's it in this demo. I hope you like this video. If you like, please click on like and subscribe for more upcoming videos, and feel free to reach us if you have any questions. Thank you.